If the Turkish Revolution also develops in the same form, it is very likely that Turkey will also find itself in a state of hostility to British interests and its highest aims. The position of the Arabs in the new state, the policy of the members of the Association of Union and Progress has, up to the present time, completely alienated the Ottomans. Especially the Syrians and the Arabs, who, the Greeks and Bulgarians, have lost all hope of establishing a truly constitutional system in Turkey. They were terrified of the cruelty of the Turks. They began to look for places to gather with a view to defending Arab interests. They hated the Turks. They had a contemptuous view of the Turks. They considered them superior to the Turks in terms of education and culture. They opposed any attempt to degrade them. They are also very afraid of the Zionist Jewish invasion of Greater Syria and Iraq. But among the Arabs themselves there are geographical boundaries such as wadis and deserts. They speak different dialects. The feeling of not wanting to unite and cooperate is a feeling that has been ingrained in their race. Many of them, whether parliamentarians or others, have secretly set their sights on the Khedive state in Egypt, because it is the only Arab state that they hope will unite all the nations that are now subject to the Ottoman Empire, under British control. For most of them, this idea has taken a clear shape, but for some, it is vague and unformed. But all these Arabs have no sympathy for the extreme Egyptian nationalists, nor do they agree with the methods they use in their political conduct. Some of them propose that the General Assembly of Freemasonry in Egypt, recognized by British Freemasonry, try to gather under its auspices all the illegal assemblies in Egypt which are owned by political Freemasonry. This opinion is of course laughable, as it clearly shows their misrepresentation of the true principles of British Freemasonry, which are certainly not political. Egyptian Freemasonry should be bound to the teachings of Freemasonry. It should therefore be the duty of the Freemasons in Egypt, who have been recognized by England, to be bound by the orders of the Supreme Grand Lodge in England and Scotland, which, among other things, should sever all ties with the illegitimate brethren who use Freemasonry only as a cover for their political plans and conspiracies. Freemasonry's relationship with the British Embassy, all the facts and figures mentioned above have been obtained by us from members of the local Freemasonry in a very secretive manner. But this local Freemasonry, as with every political organization of this kind, is very difficult to control. It will become more secretive and secretive if it feels that its secrets may be exposed and known by others. I therefore hope that you will keep this letter strictly confidential. As much of the content of this letter concerns Egypt, I thought you would send a copy of it to Gorst, in a confidential form, of course. It would also be good if a copy of this letter were sent to Iran, and even to the Indian government, because if the Muslim leaders of India knew that the Young Turk movement was heavily influenced by Jewish-controlled, atheistic political Freemasonry, it would be an answer to the efforts made by the members of the Calvinistic Society of Union and Progress to propagate pan-Islamism, which is essentially directed against England. I have enough evidence to cause me to believe that my colleague, the German ambassador, is well aware of the extent of the influence of Jewish and Latin Italian and French Freemasonry on the Society of Union and Progress, and he has certainly given his government confidential reports on this aspect of the politics of the members of the Society of Union and Progress. Your faithful friend, Gerald Lowther, P.s. As stated above, the Scottish General Assembly has refused to recognize the newly established Ottoman Eastern General Assembly, which it has declared to be false Freemasonry. But I have also heard that efforts are being made to resolve the matter in an indirect way, by getting the English General Assembly to recognize this Turkish creation. In view of the suspicious development of Egyptian Freemasonry, it would be well for the English General Assembly to follow the example of the Scottish General Assembly and refuse to recognize an institution so colored by politics. GL. Having read this letter, we can see that it is undoubtedly a very long letter, but we have published it in full because of its very precise analysis and profound depiction of a very serious period in the contemporary history of the Muslims. The Islamic world is still suffering the consequences. We think that the Islamic world will continue to bear this bitter suffering for a certain period of time until it returns to its Hanif religion. In terms of Aqidah, worship, social life, and daily behavior, this period, inshallah, will not be long, because the signs of its coming have already begun to appear. This document has proven that Freemasonry, directed by the Jews, calls for atheism. Its aims and objectives are political, spreads destruction, devastation, and disunity among the Ummah, and has links with foreign countries that are hostile to us. This document has also shown us some facts from history that everyone should know. There are many similarities between what happened then and what is happening now. A word before printing. While preparing this second printing, we have managed to collect special documents on the position of international Freemasonry in France. We are of the opinion that readers should know them even in a cursory form. Le Cropolchiat, wordy bulletin published in Paris, 49 Ave. Marceau, Paris 16.tel, 620-6509. This number is entitled, The Secret World of Freemasonry, No. 49 New Series. Date, Winter 1978 to 1979. 1. Number of assemblies in France 900, page 8. 2. Freemasonry names a number of its assemblies after historical figures including 3. In Freemasonry, banquets in countries where it is free to move. The first toast is given to the head of state, pages 16-17. 4. Freemasons have been accused of assassinating several important figures, among them Sultan Abdul Hamid, Archduke Frankitz, Ferdinand, Archduke of Austria, page 26. 5. When France was occupied by Germany, all secret organizations were disbanded and the Freemasons were expelled, p. 29. 6. Among the famous members of Freemasonry were George Washington, page 36, he has a picture of him wearing Freemason clothing. George VI England has a picture of him in the midst of the Masons, page 37. Edward VII England has a picture of him dressed as a Mason. Emperor Guillaume IP 40 has a picture of him dressed as a Mason. Frederick VII Sweden p. 40, he was a member of Freemasonry. 7. Hitler fought Freemasonry in Germany, p. 40, part of the Freemasonry in Austria were Jews, p. 40. 8. In 1979, a conference was held in Caracas to unite all Freemasonry organizations located throughout the Americas North, Central, and South. 9. Most presidents of the United States are Freemasons, but not all. The members of Freemasonry are the three presidents Kennedy, Nixon, and Sauter were not members of Freemasonry, pp. 41-42. Emelianov, a professor of history at Moscow University, says that Carter was a 33rd degree Freemason, p. 72. 10. Franco's government in Spain was anti-Freemasonry, but King Carlos and Queen Sofia had links with British Freemasonry. p. 42. In Italy, there was hostility between Freemasonry and the Vatican. p. 43. 11. Freemasonry in Latin America calls for unity among all its members. In Cuba, the Freemasons are divided, one part fleeing abroad, and the other supporting the government. The latter group is trying to expand in Africa, and Cuba is the only communist country where Freemasonry is allowed. pp. 43-44. In Africa, Freemasonry exists in Cameroon, Dahomey, Gabon, and Zaire. President Bongo and all his ministers are Freemasons. President Bongo is the president of Gabon. 12. In North Africa, Bourguiba and the authorities in Algeria are Freemasons. But it is the other way around in Morocco. p. 44. 13. The Muslims and Freemasonry. Starting in 1843, several people from among the Muslims in Algeria entered Freemasonry. Among them was Mufti Bajaya. In 1860, Hassan Ali Khan, ambassador of the Shah, had entered Freemasonry in Paris. Today, Freemasonry is banned in some Arab countries because of its links with Israel. Page 45. 14. The number of Jews in the assemblies is very large, especially in the French General Assembly, the Great Assembly of France. They are at the top levels. In France, many of the leading Grand Masters of Freemasonry are Jews. There are several assemblies where the majority of the members are Jews. Page 45. But there are also some assemblies where Jews are on the ban list. There are also some assemblies where oaths are taken on the Gospel of Johanna. And those who enter Freemasonry swear allegiance to Christians, to the President of the Republic, and to the state system. P. 45. 15. The number of Freemasons in Germany today is 40,000, which is 2/3 of their number before 1926. P. 40. There are 1,500 of them in Hungary today. P. 41. There are 60,000 of them in France, of whom 50,000 know something of the highest degrees, which means that they have a very great influence. P. 50. The high level is between level 4 and level 33. The green level is from level 1 to level 3. 16. A conversation between a professor at 18th level and a member who is about to reach this level is as follows. Brother, where are you from? From the land of the Jews. Through which country? Through Nazareth. Who is guiding you? Raphael. Which capital do you belong to? Jews. Then this teacher told the claimant to put together the first letters of the 4 words he spoke, which were in the language of the Christian from Nazareth, King of the Jews. In difficult language, nature becomes new altogether because of fire. P. 59.